Now that Samsung has just released their new and improved Galaxy Tab S11 Ultra, surprisingly it starts around the same price as the previous version, around $1,199. Luckily I have one of their older versions to knock off about $800 from that, so quite a bit cheaper. It starts with 256 gigabytes of storage and it goes up to 512 or 1 terabyte. Also takes a micro SD card up to 2 terabytes. It comes in two different colors, gray or silver. It's also one of the first Samsung tablets to have Wi-Fi 7. I believe there's only a Wi-Fi version of this as of this video. You can see the charging cables quite a bit longer than their regular tablets. First thing you notice right away is just how thin and lightweight this tablet feels. It looks like they're sticking with that new style of speaker openings with two on each side, charging port there on the right hand side or on the bottom, depending on how you hold it. Pogo pins are here on the back, and then your keyboard connections here on the bottom. Power and volume buttons there along the top. It's got a 14.6-inch dynamic AMOLED 2X display at 2960 by 1848 resolution, which is the same as the previous versions. You can also see just how thin the bezels are going all the way around. Almost like a teardrop style front-facing camera. It's a little brighter now, although I thought the previous version was probably bright enough already. It comes with Android 16, which I believe is my first Samsung product that has that, and it's going to get 7 years of software and security updates, so still leading the industry with software support. It's got face unlock, fingerprint, PIN, password, and pattern for screen lock options. Of course, you have light and dark mode. I definitely like the wallpaper on here, definitely a little bit different than some of the previous Samsung products. It also has a new and improved redesigned S Pen. I wasn't sure what to expect with the new S Pen. Kind of interesting design. It actually feels very similar to a real wood pencil. I think this might actually feel a little more comfortable in the hand. You can also transform simple sketches into art, create images from text descriptions, turn photos into cartoons, paintings, and more using the S Pen. You can see there's not that many shortcuts for the S Pen. You've just got drawing assist, AI select, create a note, screen write, but of course you can add pretty much any shortcut that you want on there as well. It seems to have good sensitivity as well, as you would expect from a Samsung S Pen. I thought the older S Pen was probably one of the better ways to draw, take notes, or just move around the software. But yeah, once you use the new one, probably personal preference, you can tell the new one is quite a bit more comfortable to use. As far as I know, the only spot you can attach the S Pen is there on the edge. I also think it's nice, you don't need to charge the S Pen anymore. The S11 and S11 Ultra. I like the redesign of the lock screen on here as well. Fingerprint scanner seems to work pretty fast on here, as you would expect from Samsung. Not a huge surprise, but the screen on here looks really good. Nice contrast, seems plenty bright enough, but like I said, I think the previous versions already looked really good as well. You can also watch up to 4K resolution for YouTube videos as well. Of course, you can switch between adaptive and standard motion smoothness if you want to switch between 120 or 60 Hz refresh rate. It also has the notifications and quick settings on opposite sides. Of course, you can change that in the settings. I kind of like this transparent look they've got going. It's got most of your typical stuff up here, like Dolby Atmos, a second screen, call and text on other devices, a secure folder, and so on. Looks like you've still got the option of Samsung News or Google Discover Newsfeed left of the home screen. You can see they don't pre-install a lot of apps on here, other than the usual ones from Samsung, a handful from Google, and a few from Microsoft. They've also got LumaFusion, Clip Studio, GoodNotes, Notion, and then of course Netflix, Spotify, a few that you could uninstall if you don't want to use. Of course, you have the Edge panel over here. Apparently they want you to know the new Galaxy AI features. You can still choose from a lot of different options or add pretty much any app that you want to as a shortcut over on the side. Of course, you have the taskbar down here at the bottom. You'll also notice there's a little icon here when you do recent apps where you can create a desktop workspace using Samsung DeX. Then you just drag one of the apps to a floating window, which you can move around, resize. Actually, not a bad idea considering you would have several different desktops that you can choose from. So definitely nice to have more options. And then obviously you can connect wirelessly to another display for Samsung DeX as well. Kind of nice that you can just swipe over to go into split screen mode now. Nice thing is you've also got video out on here, so you can connect this to a projector, TV, or external monitor. You'll also notice in settings, you've got something called Galaxy AI, where it has a bunch of different stuff in here, like writing assistant, interpreter, note assist, transcript assist, browsing assist, photo and drawing assist, audio eraser, photo ambient wallpaper, now brief, health assistant. It also has some multi-window gestures like swipe for split screen or swipe for pop-up view. It's probably still kind of an awkward tablet to use as a tablet only, but hopefully I'll be getting the keyboard later next week. It's got a MediaTek Dimensity 9400 Plus processor. It's got the same RAM options as before with 12 or 16 gigabytes, depending on which storage option you go with. Not a huge surprise, but you can see by the single and multi-core scores, you're not going to have to worry about performance when it comes to this tablet. Probably one of the highest as far as GPU scores go. So of course, you're going to be able to play most of the games in the Play Store. I know just testing PUBG Mobile and Asphalt Legends Unite, they were pretty smooth on here. It is a little bit harder to play on a larger screen like this, but it's actually pretty nice using a controller. I'll definitely have to compare this to a couple other tablets that I've just got recently to see how it compares. But so far, pretty impressive as you would expect for Samsung's most expensive tablet. It's actually a little lighter now at 1.53 pounds, but yet somehow they packed in a larger battery at 11,600 milliamp hours. I also ran my typical battery drain test at 100% screen brightness, and it lasted over 8.5 hours, which is pretty similar to the previous S10 Ultra. But keep in mind, this also has a brighter screen now, so if you turn it down, obviously it's gonna last even longer. I know there's a lot of variables when it comes to battery life, but this tablet should last a couple days with normal use. It seems to be above average considering the size and screen brightness compared to other tablets I've tested. It also has a quad speaker setup with Dolby Atmos. I'm not sure what they did to the speakers on this tablet, but they're actually super loud. Probably one of the loudest ones that I've tested recently. I guess not a huge surprise considering the size of the tablet, but here's a quick sample just to give you an idea how it sounds compared to the S10 Ultra. Before they had two front cameras, and now there's just one 12 megapixel ultra wide. So it's got a little different looking notch there on the front. Then it's got a 13 megapixel and 8 megapixel ultra wide camera on the back. Inside the camera app, over here to the side, you've got quite a few different options that you can turn on or off. It also goes up to 4K resolution, 30 frames per second for video recording. You've got portrait, photo, video. Under more, you've got Pro video, night, food, panorama, hyperlapse, portrait video, and single take. Actually has super fast shutter speed, especially for a tablet. You can sort of tell from the lighting. Looks like it's doing some kind of HDR effect. I gotta admit, that looks pretty good. Here's a few quick samples of photo and video just to give you an idea of what to expect from the Tab S11 Ultra. I think the photo and video quality is pretty nice on here. The one thing I did notice, it seemed to take a while for the focus to adjust. Hopefully that's something that they can fix with a software update. I know most people aren't going to be using the cameras on their tablet, considering it's much easier and usually better quality with your phone, but I still think you could use this for Zoom meetings or other video conference calls if you would need to. Now, after testing out this tablet for a while, I feel like this is a pretty nice upgrade over the previous Tab S10 Ultra. Feels thinner and lighter. Performance increase on this over the S10 Ultra. I definitely like the new S Pen over the previous version. So it may just come down to if that stuff is important to you. There's probably a lot of personal preference between the two, but so far I really like what I'm seeing with the S11 Ultra and plan on comparing this to some other tablets that I've got. So you'll definitely want to keep an eye out for those upcoming videos. So if you've made it this far into the video, you may want to say thanks by subscribing, and don't forget to give a thumbs up if this video was helpful. This is Brian from Fishbee Productions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.